Hi, I'm Mateo. Are you new here? These are reactions on steroids. This is gonna be very spectacular. You'll find out after the intro. Hi, this is Chisel This, a web series dedicated to lyricism and criticism. Normally, I do videos like epic rap battle parodies, some videos that I make, but now we're going for the big kahuna. The big wave's coming in and it's epic rap battles of history. This is the first one I'm ever going to critically analyze like this, and I may be doing more, so please stay tuned. Anyway, why start here? Well, this rap battle gave me very strong feelings about certain things, and I really have to just put them out in a video. A lot of people are saying that they hated it. A lot of people are saying that they loved it. I'm in the middle. I'm gonna explain why, and we're gonna go line by line and figure out what these things mean and what they could have done better.
I want to make clear to anyone of ERB who may be watching this video, I'm strictly providing constructive criticism. I've been a vigilant fan of ERB for 4 years. I even own a pair of nice Peter sunglasses. I've always looked up to all of you and admire what you are capable of. That being said, I hope you can interpret this video as the viewer's perspective on your battles, as opposed from the creator's standpoint. Take what you will from my observations, and thanks for watching.
So this is David Copperfield versus Harry Houdini. Two magicians in the same world, same universe. They're underneath the same profession, and there's nothing really coming together besides that one universe. So let's start off with the first part.
You've never seen a body quite the same as that of Houdini. Slippery like linguini, sneaking out of teeny-weeny little spaces.
Houdini starts off with a metaphor for his talent. His escape talents are probably not credited to the fact that his body is slippery like pasta, but it's worth mentioning because of the rhyme scheme initiated by his last name, Houdini. Otherwise, there would be no mention of linguini.
It's small enough to fit your talent, David. You're not a challenge, David. Your biggest endowment, your bank account balances, baby.
I find a lot of decisions in this battle to be very strange. Now, you know that I don't like when people just put a comma at the end of a line and then say the word that rhymes with the end of the line before just as an excuse to have something rhyme, right? That's not what's happening here, but it's very similar. The words that come after the word that rhymes in each line is David, David, and baby. And while I find the structure of saying David after the word to be a catchy tactic, that ending rhyme got stale to the point where they even had to reuse a line and then just make one up out of nowhere. They could have picked any word. That's how these comma things work. I really don't like them. They should have just stick to the rhyme scheme of challenge, talent, and balance, and then say nothing afterwards because it gets stale afterwards. It's very catchy. I like it. You're not a challenge, David. You got no talent, David. But after that, it's like, what are you gonna say? And they're like, oh, let's just say baby. You know, whatever. Another strange decision is the very precise word choice. It happens again at the end of Houdini's second verse, but we'll get there later. But for right now, this is what I'm talking about. The biggest endowment line, being the bank account balance, has to do with how much net worth Copperfield has. $800 million. That's a huge amount of money. But when he says your biggest endowment is your bank account balance, what does that leave to be underneath that? The second thing under that list could be a penny. It could be $799 million. It just leaves room for an ambiguous amount of things to be beneath it. The second largest thing to his bank account balance could be his immense amount of talent. A simple correction to it could have been saying that your only endowment is your bank account balance. It's just the phrasing, that's all. That's like me saying your biggest video is Romney versus Obama. That's not an insult, because every other video that they've made besides that has multiple millions of views. If you said to ERB, your only big video is Romney versus Obama, would that be true? No. But that's not what rap battling is about. A huge part of battle rapping is over-exaggeratingly accusing someone of being something far less than what they are. It's no doubt that Copperfield is a great illusionist. He wouldn't be in the battle if he wasn't. That's what's known, but Houdini's job as the opposing battle rapper is to make it seem like Copperfield is the worst illusionist in the world.
Abracadabra, you billowy bitch. Man, you look like a pirate on the Las Vegas Strip.
The only problem I have with this next part is the flow is molasses, man. Let me tell you. Here's the problem with fast rapping styled beats. There's a very, 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 very fast, and then there's a very, very, very slow paced tempo that you can follow. It's one of the two, and the only way to find a happy medium is what they did in the beginning, is to change it up a little bit, throw a little curveball in there. It's more like this, and the beginning part is like that roller coaster. You have like that, and it goes like that, but this is like, man, you look like a pirate on the Las Vegas Strip. I don't want to sound superfluous. I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. You have this extreme, and you have that extreme, and the only way to break the mold is to be innovative like they were in the beginning. But then this part, it just dragged out.
I'm swallowing needles and spitting out evil you couldn't escape.
Now here is where the first instance of the fast rapping plague begins. The easiest and most regimented way to create a fast rap is to just do a static iambic pentameter. It goes up and down, stressed syllable, unstressed syllable. It's the easiest way because when your mouth is going up and down like this, it goes up and down like that. It's like taking that simple and then adding words to it, but keeping the mouth movement. And that's how I try to teach the art of fast rapping to people. You're opening and closing with every other syllable. If you're doing like a certain set of words and all it involves is the movement of your tongue and it's like all L's and it's like you have to go like that and you stumble over it. This is just the easiest way to make a fast rap. And not to mention the short A rhyme scheme. All you have to do is follow the I am. Anything that has that short A sound, that's just the easiest scapegoat to find when you're trying to do fast rap. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying that it's funny how somebody who's noticed that being the easiest way to fast rap and then it's being used here. It's just like, it's kind of a subliminal thing where it's like, all right, how do we want to portray this fast rap? Well, let me think of some words that I know that I can say fast without stumbling up. And that short A sound and the short I sound are the first that come to mind for me. And it obviously was happening here. Flash, batter, patter, matter, match, half. Another thing that I despise about fast raps and epic rap battles are that they end way too soon. They build up all this momentum and you're going and you're going and you're going like
When I was a child, you were a god to me.
They leave you hanging and you get lost in that momentum of energy that's building up and you want it to go somewhere. I know that at the end of the battles, instead of having the beat end, they decided to keep the beat going because they don't want that momentum to stop. They want to keep you going and they want to focus all your energy into maybe watch another battle. I know Peter was talking about that in one of his old videos a long time ago, and I understand that. But I see them not doing it here. And it also didn't happen in Edgar Allan Poe versus Stephen King. Watsky goes on this whole fast rap, and it lasts for 4 lines. And then it just stops.
I see through you like pantyhose. Who your fellas, dipstick cameos? Even if you're gripping on the weapon, then you better get a step in if you're mixing with the warlord. In a minute, you hit him, cut him into itty bitty bits, and I'm sticking on the floorboard. Speaking of bored,
it's just too short, and I know that it's so difficult to come up with things to say, and what's going to be considered as a filler, and what's going to be considered, not good enough to be in this battle, what's going to be a subpar to everything else that we're saying. I get that, and it's hard, but you guys have the resources to make this happen. So David Copperfield's verse.
when I was a child, you were a god to me. I had to do what you do. Now you're like a Chinese wall to me. Bitch, I'll walk right through you.
This is a good section of the battle. It's a great start to Copperfield's verse. When two rap battlers know each other in real life, especially with ERB, it's extremely important to acknowledge the relationship that they have in real life. Now, I'm not saying that these two people knew each other, but obviously Copperfield was influenced by Houdini, and that's something that's huge in Copperfield's career. It's especially powerful to acknowledge someone's honor diminishing over time, and that's exactly what Copperfield says here. He once was a hero, but now, he's not much anymore, and Copperfield has surpassed him to the point where he's walking through him like the Great Wall of China. When someone once looked up to someone and no longer does, that's such a powerful connection, because you're really saying like wow, look where you went. Look at all this potential that you had and look what you did with it. That's disgraceful. You abandoned us. Don't abandon your friends.
This ain't the magic that you used to. I float a rose hands free like it's Bluetooth.
This is a pretty cool line, and it also touches on how magic has evolved over time and has become modernized, just like technology has with the Bluetooth. We used to be connecting cables and all that stuff, and now Bluetooth, hands-free, and that's what this whole illusion thing is doing, doing things without touching them.
My grand illusions make your politics irrelevant. For the Lady Liberty, you stop it on your elephant. You fail at making movies and you fail at making kids. You stick to what you're good at and like them live.
Here's another example of over-exaggerating something. The Houdinis were unable to have children. However, the fault belonged to the wife, as she was infertile, not Harry Houdini. The accusation made here is that Houdini was the problem. And this is something that you can argue as a battle rap factor. You want to exaggerate these things. You want to make it seem like someone is at fault for something, even when they may not be.
Here's a tidbit that might drive you nuts. I'll hack your shit and I keep it locked up.
This is one of those lines where it just points something out. While it is very worthwhile to mention how Copperfield has ownership of a museum that harbors so much Harry Houdini paraphernalia, it shouldn't just be said. All he says is, I bought half your stuff and I kept it locked up. I get that this is supposed to be a diss to Harry in the sense that you wouldn't like that this happened to you after your death, that this is something that would have gone against your will to live on after you would have passed. You wouldn't have wanted this to happen after your time was done, but this is what I did with it. I kept all your stuff and I locked it up in a museum. That's not something that you would like, but I'm just saying, that's what I did. And I get that that's the point of this line. But again, The creativity is there. It's possible. It shouldn't just be said. And in this sense, it took a whole 2 lines to say nothing but this fact. Whether or not nuts is a play on words, there's still no creative insight in either of these lines.
Got those slim fingers that were built for fight. You're a chunky stuntman, dressed in tight. You talk shit about your hero. That ain't right.
This line ain't right, alright? Hold on. Yet another fact, just followed by a filler line, that ain't right. The reference is of Houdini disgracing the man that he took his name after in a book that he wrote later in his life. Basically, he talks bad about his hero, which ain't right. But again, in the beginning of this verse, David Copperfield was talking about how Harry Houdini was a hero, and now he's not anymore. He kind of shamed himself over time. Hello, it's right, it's 2 + 2. You could have said something about that there.
But you can look up to me now. I know you're like,
The word but provides an excuse for the previous line's existence. They gave reasoning. Aside from that, this last line is a pretty great line, and it's a great way to end Copperfield's first verse.
Your hack of a bum, saggedy act is embarrassing. You're the saddest thing to happen to magic since the gathering. Hang on by my ankles on my crane, I dangle.
This is epic rap battles of history. This scenario right here is why we love ERB. This scenario creation is why ERB surpasses all others like it. This is what they have the opportunities to do. This is what they have the resources to accomplish. And this is what they should be doing for every battle. And I'm not saying just parts of the battle, I'm saying all of it. You have this awesome scenario where it looks like people are in the background watching Houdini getting strapped into the straitjacket. And there's an official tying him to this, making sure he's down pat, throwing him off the thing, and then he escapes and he's hanging there, and that's awesome. That's awesome. It's awesome. And ERB needs to pull more stuff like this. They have the resources to do this. They have the budget, they have the crew, they have the studio, they have everything that they need to be able to pull these things off. Do it more. Make it happen. Okay? Another fast rap scapegoat we have here. Sound familiar? Starting off with a long note and then going into iambic syllabic mayhem. The problem with this line, and it's not as much of a problem as it is just should have been worded a little bit differently, is the line about lox. Lox is a fillet of brine salmon that is oftenly frequented with bagels. Bagels. However you want to say it. Now, lox is a homophone of the word lox, which is what Houdini is a pro with. He says that Copperfield couldn't handle, escape from, or perform tricks with lox, which in this case is meant to be the harmless nature of the bagel topping. This is a really clever play on words, and I credit people like Zach Sherwin for things like this. However, there's one word in this line that makes it problematic to me, just by a critical analysis standpoint. I know I'm overthinking this, I get it, but hear me out. My bagel. I honestly did not get this line until I looked up the meaning of it, and here's why. When Harry Houdini says, "I've got lox on my bagel that you couldn't handle," it makes me think that the source of the joke lies in the word bagel. So I'm just thinking, like, is this one of those Elvis Presley and the peanut butter and banana fetish things? Like, does Harry Houdini have something going on for lox and bagel sandwiches? That's what I thought. In all seriousness, I think that if it was worded like, "I've seen, had, or eaten lox on a bagel that you couldn't handle," just think about it. I've seen lox on a bagel that you couldn't handle. That completely changes the perspective that you have on the line. Now, granted, you may have gotten this in the first time, and I applaud you for that. Well done. These rap battles go by way too fast, and that's why you have to watch them over and over again. They have a huge total replayability value. I love this line. I'm just explaining my critical analysis and confusion with it.
You can't hide shame with a camera angle.
Did somebody say angel?
No.
Oh.
Where is the lisp? Did somebody say angel?
And that was the cue to end this segment because our wonderful sound man, Alan Moss, just destroyed the store.
Chris Angel has a profound, slight lisp. And by profound and slight, I know they contradict themselves, but it's profoundly slight. He doesn't go, "Did somebody say angel?" You're gonna introduce Chris Angel, shut him down so quick, at least portray him with one of the things that he's most known for. That's like having Dr. Phil saying, "I think you better just leave her alone." That line is it's so generic, and you get Lloyd dressed up as Dr. Phil to say that? Could it be that I'm missing out on something that, is a common thing on the Dr. Phil show, where he says that he doesn't? You sure? What I'm saying is this. Don't waste these opportunities. You got Dante dressed up like Chris Angel. You had him in the battle, and nothing pertained to him. I just want to read you something. This battle should have been a trio, period. No matter how good Copperfield was portrayed, he's just not strong enough to hold so much weight as one of the only two rappers. I feel that Houdini had the potential to hold such weight, but it was diminished by the matchup. If this was a battle of man's magic and something like wizardry and fictional magic, there could be so much more potential. There can be two completely different universes clashing into each other. But this battle, like Michael Jackson vs. Elvis Presley, and a few others, is one of those real-life plausible ones. It's therefore limited to the singular universe that each contestant brings. They both do magic, and while one is old magic and one is modern magic, they're not very different. In battles where two parties that have similar features but are not entirely the same, like Lewis and Clark and Bill and Ted, these universes merge into what we've come to love as epic rap battles of history. But where would you see Genghis Khan and the Easter Bunny in the same place? That's why epic rap battles of history is so special. It can take these two crazy things that have one common thread and then somehow give them all these other common threads and just collide these universes and make them something so special. But if ERB was so eager to use Copperfield and Harry Houdini in the same battle, I think that there needed to be a third person to balance out that weight. And that third person was and is Criss Angel, but he should have had at least one verse to himself. We've seen this before in Isaac Newton versus Bill Nye and in Billy Mays versus Ben Franklin. Somebody comes in at the end to save the battle. All right, you have a bunch of people requesting someone, and maybe you think that they're not strong enough to be in an epic rap battle. Maybe you think that you're not going to portray them right, or maybe you think that there's not enough to say about them to be in an epic rap battle of history. I get that. Bill Nye barely said anything about himself, which is what opened up the third door for Neil deGrasse Tyson to come in. Someone as interesting, controversial, doubted among all, and delusional as Criss Angel, he should have had a place in the battle. But you know what? Now, I'm happy you didn't put him in. And you know why I'm happy you didn't put him in? Because I am using Criss Angel in a rap battle of my own very soon, so please stay tuned for this. Very spectacular. You can click here to subscribe for free if you want to see that when it comes out, but regardless, I don't want your charity. Criss Angel should have adopted Copperfield's last verse, and it's very evident with how many lines did not have to be in Copperfield's last verse that they were running out of things to say about him.
See what they be watching if it wasn't for me. I remind the world of magic is supposed to make you happy.
This line disses Criss Angel and then spits out this corny line that doesn't hold much weight in the battle at all. Copperfield reminds the world that magic is supposed to make people happy. That's what I want to say in this video. That's what I want to explain to you. That shouldn't be what's in the battle that I'm explaining.
Why you waste time proving everybody wrong? I'm backstage getting my supermodel groove on.
This is another Force reference, and this is where I believe that they ran out of things to say. It is funny to point something out like this and then have this YouTube famous girl to come in and then pretend to be his girlfriend and then, you know, act all hot for the camera. It's funny. It's funny, okay? But then this is where it gets controversial. Does this line prove that Copperfield is not ERB worthy? Is there not enough to say? Is there not enough special things about his universe that can be portrayed in this battle? I mean, they did it.
You should relax, take a private trip to my private island, suck my private dick.
Okay, this line is completely irrelevant. Please, I'm begging you to give me a reason why this line is in the battle. If you wanted to mention David Copperfield's chain of 11 islands, well, first of all, hello, chain! You know, like while you're cuffing yourself to a wall, I'm chaining together all of these islands and this massive fortune for myself. Or you could have said something like, I'll own you 11 times, once for each of my islands. But then again, is this island reference rap battle worthy? That's what makes me confused, and that's why people think that this battle sucked. This battle didn't suck. This battle has a lot of good things about it, but it's lines like these where people see them and they're just like, come on.
I'll summon up a little Halloween brunch, deep fried suck off the side of punch.
Ending line is good line. It's a weird way to phrase it, but if you look at it this way, Halloween and punch can be associated because punch is commonly served as a beverage on Halloween with the bowl and the scoop thing. You know? I like creating these scenarios where, all right, you initiated that you're going to summon up a Halloween brunch. So summon and Halloween go together because it's like ethereal beings, conjuring otherworldly things, like kind of what illusions are supposed to make you think. Brunch initiates this whole food idea that comes in the next line. A deep fried sucker with a side of punch. The side of punch is a good thing to say because Houdini actually was killed by a number of punches to the chest. He went around saying that he could withstand even the heaviest blow to the chest, and then somebody caught him off guard and just punched him too many times, died a few weeks later on Halloween. That's why this line is relevant. All right, now for this trick here that they did at the end, there's a layer that's underneath the top of the pot, and when he puts it on there, some adhesive force removes it from the top and then puts it on top of the flame. In one frame, you can see that the letters RIP are in front of the pot and not on the coffin. So, but what I really think that this was is that this is a magic pot that they purchased at a magic store. In regards to aesthetics, this battle is nice. The harpy in the background is reminiscent of the Copperfield TV special with the Great Wall of China. But it didn't go away, and it was very annoying. It got to the point where it was like, the whole beat was just based on the heartbeat. And this isn't even a battle with doctors. So it's like, you wonder why the heartbeat was even in the Great Wall of China thing to begin with. And then you have it here in a battle of magicians. And I guess it's saying that some of the tricks put your life on the line. There's times and places for the heartbeat in the battle. It could have came in and out. It could have only been there when Copperfield was on. There were a lot of different things that they could have done to make it less annoying. The vocals had nice effects on them. Lloyd's harmonies at certain parts were in tune with the notes of the heartbeats, and you can hear it. It's like, you look like a pirate on the Las Vegas Strip.
Man, you look like a pirate on the Las Vegas Strip.
You know, like that's really cool. Like that's how you make like vocals unique. That kind of brings me to another point. You know, like you wonder when the same two people dressing up as all these different characters is going to get redundant or is going to become repetitive. The little things like Lloyd's eye makeup and Peter's eyebrows, they just turn these people into the characters, and you just kind of forget that it's always them. And it's like how did they make them look and feel like such different people? And that's all the crew that they're blessed with. Houdini definitely deserved more in regards to a battle, but the scenario that was depicted in his second verse completely saved the entire battle. It was beautiful, even though the continuation of him falling off the top was a little erroneous because it began with him falling off and then resumed with him bouncing back up from the bottom. So it skipped the time frame that it would have taken him to fall off the building and then get to the bottom. It just kind of went from here and then skipped down here. It took me a few times to go back and watch it to see like, oh, well, like it looks like he's falling, but then the buildings are going up. So then I watched it again and I said, it looks like he's bouncing back up, but he didn't fall down. ERB will always have this just amazing crew of people to work with, and I just hope that they continue to be as unique as they are privileged to be. I'm Mateo. This has been an episode of Chisel This. We talk about lyrics. These are critical reactions. You won't see a full video of me watching this video by itself anywhere, because that's not the kind of content that I want to promote or that I think should ever be promoted. You should be showing people the parts that you reacted to, not the parts that you stared and watched at. But I have another video coming out about that soon, so please stay tuned to my channel. Just relax. I want you to stay tuned because we do the best we can here. And oh, I just did this, didn't I? Okay, I'm Chris Angel. I can get out of this. I swear. I swear. I caught Ebola one time. I can get out of this. No problem. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I want you to keep watching Matt Forio's videos because they're going to be spectacular. He will have more than one line. I promise he will have more than one line. And it's just going to be a really cool battle. And this pretty lady is going to be in it also. This has been Chris Angel. This has been Mind Freak. And I'm going to go escape from a burning building now. So I'll see you later.